Hey everyone, this is the Legend of Stonecrusher, a small backstory about my fan tribe's Rocklings. It's about this evil animus named Stonecrusher who practically destroyed and enslaved his entire tribe. When he was finally defeated, he became so large he became the mountainside resting through the continent pristine. It's about his backstory and how he became evil. I really hope you like it. Pebble's wings were heavy as he flew to the temple. It was the dead of night, pine trees like tall dark shadows glinting in the moonlight. Caves and buildings glowed with hints of torchlight from far east. Pebble pushed against the winds, determined to get to his destination. The temple of King 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕜, the only king in Rockling history, though their history wasn't very long. King 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟 lived 5 generations ago. He was the great savior of the tribe, bringing the gift of fire. And that's where I'm going. Pebble was an orphan. He didn't remember his mother, only the dark place he grew up in, the streets. With his scrawny size and plain, boring gray scales, he didn't get very well in fashion, employment, or even stealing. He was around 10 years old now, an adult. But I've never had a childhood, so how can I be an adult? So about 3 years ago, Pebble fled to the forest, hunting prey, living under the trees and under the rock piles. Finally, the temple came into sight, bathed in silver moonlight. Pebble tipped his wings to fly into the temple, which was always open. The polished walls were shiny as water as he walked through the hallways. Orient vases with flowers dotted the hallways. Silver silk glowed between the windows. It was the most beautiful place Pebble had ever seen. In the center of the temple was a large statue, carpets surrounding the circle room. The roof was halfway open to the sky. Candles and the moon were the only light in the room. Pebble sat down, wings folded as he bent to the statue. The statue was of 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟, gazing majestically to the sky. 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟, Pebble wound his tail closer. King 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟, his small voice echoed across the room. I don't know if you can hear a poor dragon such as I, but I need your help. I need guidance. I don't know what to do with my life. I have nothing, only humility to hear your answer. Pebble stayed bent to the floor, listening for a voice or something, but he only heard the wind blowing outside. Disappointment filled his chest. Stupid! How could a statue listen to you? A puny, weak rockling. A statue. King 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟 wasn't a god. He was a normal rockling. Why am I doing this? Pebble could practically hear the laughter of the ancient king. Rock-brained gods, Pebble hissed. Too high and mighty to help the living down here? Laughter echoed across the room. Pebble's blood turned ice. It couldn't be a priestess, though. They were all asleep. Suddenly, Pebble's vision went dark. The statue, the candlelight, the temple of 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟 was all gone. After what seemed like an eternity in the seething shadows, his vision began to clear. And he was suddenly in a small circle, fog bordering the outside. The whole space radiated darkness and shadows. Pebble could faintly see dark dragon-like silhouettes. Where in the kingdoms am I? Pebble turned side to side. Welcome, Pebble. A deep voice like rumbling thunder echoed round about in the silence. I have heard your prayer. Pebble widened his eyes. King 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟? Great starfire, black note, the voice cursed, his voice hissing. I am someone more powerful than that little rockling god. The fog stirred and a giant dragon emerged. His scales were almost like a star wing, dark as night, but they still hinted at gray. He had jagged patterns along his wings, neck, face, and arms. His horns were curled sharply like a bighorn sheep. His eyes glowed red. The only accessory he wore was a silver chain. He radiated pure darkness and void. I am King Vathos. The dark rockling gave a curt nod. King of the demons. Demons? Pebble took a step back. I can't possibly, but aren't you all evil? A rockling nearby with the same patterns gave a snort. Evil? Is a wolf evil because it preys on sheep? In order for there to be light, there must be darkness, King Vathos murmured. I see. Pebble's wings shivered. By all this imitating darkness, he wanted to go back home. But home to what? A cave in the rocks? These demons had brought him here. They may seem evil, but they were right. They summoned me when King 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕜 didn't even talk to me, and Vathos called him a god. "Why have you brought me here?" Pebble called upwards. King Vathos' eyes glowed in pleasure. "Pebble, I've called you here to help, give assistance, to answer your prayer." "Really?" Pebble's eyes widened. "Indeed." King Vathos nodded, his patterns glowing a bit. "You asked for power, which is one thing I certainly have a lot of." A few demons chuckled in the background. "Power?" Pebble stumbled. I'm sorry, but I was looking for a better life. Do you know the reason you never grew up with a mother?" King Vathos casually interrupted, making Pebble's heart stop. "I'll tell you. She paid everything she owned, which wasn't much, to have your egg hatched in the Hall of 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕜, hoping to have you hatched as an animus. But it didn't work, so she gave you up, put you as a dragonette in a random basket at the market, and gave you up for not being an animus." Pebble froze, his heart pounding. "He's a demon!" His mind was shouting in fast sentences. "She gave you up. He could be lying. You were never an animus. You're nothing special." She didn't care. Fury boiled in his stomach, steam rising from his snout. King Vathos looked up at the rising heat. "But," his voice was a small hiss, "I can give you what you are meant to become, an animus. I can give you that power. What do you say?" Anger so roared through his veins, but Pebble barely managed to stay calm. "Why should I trust you? You could be lying. That's all demons are known for." The same demon who spoke before growled. "Why not use the resources we demons have to live better? That's what you want, isn't it?" "Gorgon is correct," King Vathos said in agreement. "But the price of power is high, so you'll have to give me something in return." "Like what?" Pebble snorted in surprise. "I have a nice cave filled with dust. Or even better, you can feast on my warm soul after you kill me." "Warmth," a demon hissed from somewhere. Pebble momentarily shivered. King Vathos ignored the intrusion. "While the soul is tempting, I'll offer something better, because frankly I like you. You have potential to become someone great. All you have to give me is your fire, your great gift from 𝕨𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕜, and once you gain animus power, you can easily enchant yourself to have fire again." "Can't you enchant yourself to have fire?" Pebble pointed out. "Aren't demons animi, and why do you need fire so much?" "If we were animi, would we even be talking to you?" Gorgon said, scales dark and eyes narrowed. "We can do whatever we want with animus power. We can only do our deeds to help." She paused abruptly, gaze flickering to King Vathos. "We need the fire to stay warm." King Vathos ignored Gorgon. "All demons do is wither in the coldness, our misery. With the gift of fire we could stay warm. You know what it's like to live in the frigid, right, Pebble?" "Yeah." Pebble's mind flashed to shivering in the winter as a dragonette, trying to make a house in the snow. Dragons stomped through the slush, gaze as cold as the weather. With animus power, they would all respect me. I could be someone my mother would be proud of. I could make her be proud of me. His mind shifted darker. Who says there can't be another Rockling king? After a few moments of thinking, Pebble nodded. "Fine, I'll give you my fire if you make me become an animus." "Yes, good choice, Pebble. Step forward, please." King Vathos smiled. He reached out his arm to touch Pebble's chest. It glowed warmly. All demon eyes were on the light. It came from Pebble's chest and through King Vathos' arms and into his chest. His red eyes glowed brighter. Pebble felt the warmth leave him and gave a shiver. And then it was done. King Vathos let go, looking at his talons. Pebble tried to breathe a plume of flame, but nothing came out. King Vathos' patterns glowed orange, shining soft light on his smiling face. "Thank you, Pebble. Now it's your turn." Reaching his arm out again, a blue glow blasted out of his talons, reaching into Pebble. He gave a short gasp in surprise and pain. It felt like something was growing on his bones and soil. He growled in pain. Then he watched in surprise as dark stripes began to glow along his scales. His wings, face, and chest, his own scales became a little darker. "What have you done?" Even Pebble's voice sounded deeper. "I made you an animus." Steam rose from King Vatho's snout. A small silver circle appeared on his necklace. "And a small demon. Demi-demon? I'll have to think about it. Stonecrusher." "Stonecrusher?" Pebble looked around. "Who's that?" "You," Gorgon growled. "Your new name is Stonecrusher." Darkness began to fade along Stonecrusher's vision. "Wait, you're one of us now. Do what you've always wanted. Make your mother proud. Become king. Anything your new heart desires." King Vatho's voice echoed. And then the demons were gone. Stonecrusher was in the mist and shadows, and suddenly back at the temple. It was morning now. Stonecrusher looked at his talons, looking at the stripes along his wings. "I can do whatever I want now." He picked up an extinguished candle from nearby. "Become a rock," Stonecrusher whispered softly. The candle morphed into a stone in his talons, and delight bursted from his stomach. "I'm an animus. I'm magic." Stonecrusher looked upward, the sunlight shining down onto the statue of metallic, sapphire eyes glowing. Stonecrusher snorted. The statue suddenly burst into pieces. Rock and dust littered all over the carpet floor. Picking up one of the sapphire eyes, Stonecrusher left the temple. It was the small things that led to Stonecrusher's rise to power. Stonecrusher at first was confused after his first spell. He had the patterns of a demon and the power beyond them too. So he cast his second spell to find his mother. He watched the ink sprawl over the scroll. "Shale has been dead for 5 years." And that was all it said. On that dark day, a hole opened inside of Stonecrusher. His mother gave him up because he had no animus power. She paid everything for that chance. Now he had it, and she was gone. The hole expanded, grabbing deep emotions inside, living up in the streets, cold and hungry, while the rich Rockwings treated him like dirt on a piece of silk. Then everything went on from there. The sapphire that made the queen turn into a statue. The announcement that he was king. The small spell to have the temple of metallic burned down. Sure, there were some rebellions, but they died quickly. In Stonecrusher's head, he was a marvelous king. They conquered more territory, more treasure, and a better life in general. Yes, they would work harder, despite Stonecrusher being able to enchant whatever he wanted. But that was the entire point, to punish them. Stonecrusher was the powerful Rockwing king. He had all the treasure, power, and territory he could ever want. But the hole inside him slowly began to consume him. Super strength? Done. Hidden spies among the Rockwings? Done. Executing the dragons not loyal to him? Done as well. Until one night. Stonecrusher had just made his announcement to kill anyone he wanted, which was unneeded. He could do it anyway. All temples and shrines of metallic were gone. The Hall of 𝕨𝕒𝕒𝕟 was destroyed. Rocks scattered among the kingdom. No more pesky Rockwing 𝕨𝕒𝕒𝕟 to destroy him. He walked down to his pristine castle, the walls shining in the moonlight. The marble walls glowed as he walked by. He could see his own reflection. The patterns flickered dangerously across his spines, his dark obsidian crown made into spires on his head. Finally, he arrived into his room, passing through the large silver doors. Everything was in order. He came to his bed, yawned, then fell asleep. Then he felt a small twitch in his side. In that moment, his eyes opened, and there in the room was a small, dark gray Rockwing, clutching 5 colored stones, eyes closed. "How did he get in here?" Stonecrusher looked around furiously. "An animus." The answer came into his head. "He's here to stop me." The Rockwing looked up and jumped in surprise. "How did you get past the door?" "That tells me when anyone comes in." Stonecrusher sat upwards, wings flaring. The dragon stuttered, stepping backward. Rocks, Stonecrusher thought, turn into bands to stop this dragon from moving, and only talk if I allow it. The pile of rocks from a statue turned into bands the color of blue night, trapping the rockling in place. That's better, Stonecrusher grinned. Now I can get a better look at you. Cole, a young dragon from up north. He hatched as an animist. He's been plotting with rebels to try and destroy me. You thought you could kill me? Stonecrusher barked a laugh. The powerful king, not to mention immortal? You rebels think you're so smart. He landed his eyes on Cole, and suddenly the stones he had held before whipped over at him, hovering over his talons. Good thing I'm not as dumb as you. I'll easily get rid of him, but I'll make it entertaining for myself. He already knew everything he needed about this dragon. Stonecrusher leaned forward to Cole's snout. You intend to defeat me with these stones, so it'll be very poetic when it kills you instead. Cole's eyes widened. He picked up a pillow and said out loud, Pillow, when you touch this dragon, you will remove all his animist power. He will no longer be able to cast spells. The enchanted objects on him will stop working. Why would you do this? Cole said when he allowed him to talk. Why punish all the Rockwings when you can help them? Stonecrusher snorted. Why should I explain to you, cowardly animus? His blue eyes landed on his patterns. And where did you get those? No dragon had asked him before. And Cole would soon be dead, so Stonecrusher thought he might humor him with the truth. Demons gave me my power, Stonecrusher smiled down at Cole, and gave me the patterns as well. Demons? Cole widened his eyes. But they're evil. Enough. Stonecrusher didn't want any pity. He trusted King Vathos. He helped him when not even the great Metallic would. Picking up one of the stones tied by a silver chain, Stonecrusher smiled again. When you're dead, I can make no more animi hatch. Give me some good ideas. Maybe I should enchant a dagger to kill any dragon that might be a threat. Or how about a slow, deadly torture of 1,000 cuts? Wrangled in the egg? Speak up. You're a monster! Cole's eyes glowed with hatred as he pulled against his chains. No, I'm a demon. Not very friendly, but I'll forgive you. Gems? Kill Cole! The gems moved fast on Cole, pointed edge shining gleamingly in the moonlight. But they hit Cole's scales and did nothing. Stonecrusher growled, steam rising from his snout. No! There must have been a previous enchantment to be immune to me removing his magic. Fine, I'll kill you myself, Stonecrusher hissed. He was larger than any normal dragon. It could take less effort than a flight. He reached forward to pin the smaller dragon. Gems, do your original enchantment and touch Stonecrusher, Cole yelped. Make me larger than the moons, he roared and leaped forward and touched his scales. Then everything went dark. He could feel the ground moving as he expanded higher and higher. The stones beneath the palace floor collapsed, and towers falling into the hillside. The last thing he heard before he went unconscious was cackling laughter. And that's pretty much it for this story. I really hope you all liked it. If you have any constructive responses so I can write better, I would love to hear down below. Why do you think Stonecrusher went evil? Do you like the demon part? At first, the traditional story I wrote for it was more messy and kind of boring, but after reading some mythology books, I really wanted to incorporate that kind of thing in some way. Thanks for watching and have the best day.